What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Vanguard Beta has finally come to an end, or at least it should have by the time this video goes live. And while I am planning on having a more comprehensive video, sort of bringing all of the points together into one video, that's going to take a few days to put together. So instead, in today's video, I wanted to focus on one specific bit of feedback and one relatively common complaint coming from Modern Warfare or Warzone players. And this is the tac sprint delay. You may have been hearing people talk about this. I'm going to break it down and show you guys exactly what this is and how it differs from Warzone. And then I just wanted to share my opinions and feedback on this. So, for those that don't know, in Modern Warfare as well as Warzone, something you can do to maintain momentum while giving your tac sprint some time to recharge a little bit is tac sprint into a slide, and then as you're sliding, you press the crouch button a second time, and then you press the jump button, or the button that would make you stand up from a crouched position. If you do that in rapid succession, you can get right back into a tac sprint nearly immediately, and that time that you spent during that slide will contribute to recharging your tac sprint. So this allows you to maintain that momentum as you're in the slide, and it gives you a little bit of time to recharge part of your tac sprint while you're in the process of sliding, since you're technically not in a tac sprint state. And in general, this allows you to get around the map faster and more effectively, and it also makes you quite a hard target to hit, especially if you're crossing open areas. It's very hard to get a headshot on somebody that's doing this consistently. And this is why you tend to see a lot of higher skilled players implementing this slide cancel into their gameplay, especially in Warzone. Now, when it comes to Vanguard, at least in the beta, we don't know if this is going to change for launch. At least in the beta build of the game, we do have very similar mechanics from Modern Warfare and Warzone, since a lot of it is copied and pasted, they share the same engine, and they also share a lot of the same mechanics, and one of those mechanics is tac sprinting. However, for those that are really used to slide canceling, when they played the Vanguard Beta, they immediately noticed there is much more of a delay after you come out of a slide before you're able to get back into a full tac sprint. So you don't maintain that momentum the same way as you can in Warzone, and they obviously felt like they were being held back in that way since they're so used to the movement in Warzone. So let's compare these side by side so you guys can see the actual difference here, keeping in mind I sync these clips up from the moment we come out of our slide, not the moment we enter the slide, but the moment we're coming out of the slide. And the big thing to pay attention to is how long it takes to get that gun up in one hand on the right side of the screen, because that is when you're in your tac sprint animation. And you can very clearly see that it takes much longer to get back into that tac sprint in Vanguard compared to Warzone. Now, I did the rough timings on this, and from the moment you come out of the slide to the moment that tac sprint is activated, in Warzone, it appears to be about 400 milliseconds, at least with an SMG in my hand. This will likely change a little bit depending on the weapon in your hand. But in Vanguard, it takes 750 milliseconds to do this. So it takes almost twice the amount of time to get back into a tac sprint when coming out of a slide. And therefore, it looks like slide canceling is heavily nerfed in Vanguard, and it's not going to be nearly as effective as it was in Modern Warfare or Warzone. And honestly, I do think this was an intentional decision that the developers made. I think they watch people playing their game and how they interact with the game, and they don't like seeing people technically exploit a glitch. This could be considered an exploit, although I think the majority of the community would agree that this is more of a positive exploit. It helps the gameplay pacing and flow for the most part. But in either case, I don't think the developers like this, and I think they added this little bit of a delay to intentionally nerf slide canceling in Vanguard. And honestly, when it comes to the regular multiplayer experience, I really didn't feel like I was missing slide canceling all that much. And therefore, I don't necessarily disagree with this decision, although I think I would prefer if the standard slide canceling were there. Perhaps there could be a middle ground here. Maybe cut that delay down a little bit so it doesn't feel as quote-unquote clunky to a lot of people that are used to slide canceling. But generally speaking, I never really felt like I was being held back too much because of this tac sprint delay. Having said this though, with the integration of the Pacific map, and as the devs have stated, all of the tech is going to be used from Vanguard in Warzone coming up, I really hope that this delay doesn't carry through to Warzone, and this is my bigger concern. I think slide canceling is much more beneficial in a more open world environment where you have to cover long distances like in Warzone, and it's just one of those little things that adds to the skill gap. It's not massive, but it's one of those little things that players can pick up on and learn how to do and learn how to master in order to gain a slight edge with their gameplay. I don't think it's severely broken by any means. I don't think it harms the gameplay experience overall. If anything, I think it helps it a little bit. So yeah, at the very least, I would definitely love to see them cut this delay back a bit when it comes to the Warzone experience, assuming they're planning on carrying this over to Warzone. But I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to them having it a little bit slower than we're currently seeing in Warzone. Now, of course, this is just my opinion. This isn't a particular hill that I'm willing to die on. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I do feel like they could tighten things up a little bit here, and the overall perception of the clunkiness of this game would be improved if they cut down on this slide cancel delay. Now, of course, this is just my opinion. I'd like to hear in the comment section below, what do you guys think about this tac sprint delay that they've added in Vanguard? Do you like this change? Do you like that it slows things down a little bit? Do you absolutely despise this change? Does it feel really clunky because of this, because you're used to Warzone or Modern Warfare? Or are you just kind of indifferent to it? You don't really care either way. Just let me know those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.